It's a long time.
Sorry.
Hey, two, you want water before we start? You want one?
We're live.
We're live. Oh, I fucked up here.
What's up, fam?
Street fitted it in.
I don't want this.
What's wrong, cuz? What's wrong with you, cuz? All right, let me share this thing to my demo and then we out.
I'm already up.
Oh no, that's cool. Let them.
Oh, they can hear us too?
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know that.
he set us up for failure every time.
Every time. Degenerate ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? Nobody.
Set us up for failure. Every time.
Well, I currently have no internet access. Okay.
What's going on, y'all? Dre, Deborah, how y'all feeling? Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the first episode of Herban 2. We starting over. We're gonna throw away the previous 2,000 episodes. 101 for time. That's what you came with? Because I think we was on time. I think you got here at 101.
Stop the cat!
Right. Put Ty on there with us. And he's not even right. You are not correct, sir. That is
Well,
crazy.
that didn't last long.
That is wild.
Obviously, we working out the kinks.
That is mad wild, son. That is mad crazy. That is mad crazy, son. T, what up? Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. All right, T, you ready to do a show, man?
Let's try it, man.
Let's have at it.
Set looks nice. Appreciate it, fellas.
Goddess, what up, man?
Oh, I'm looking on here. I didn't realize you could see it up there. Shit,
That's kind of what it's
all
for.
kind of new tricks and shit.
It's kind of what it's for, sir.
All right, let's do the intro.
What up, what up, what up? What is happening, good people? Welcome to the very first edition of Herban 2, live from the Herban 2 studios. This is where we get together, talk about issues that currently impact the black community alongside two Slime Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to tune in. As always, your input certainly valued and definitely appreciated. We are back live Mondays at 1 p.m. so we can have the interactions that y'all got used to, that we got used to. Want to bring that back. So again, thank y'all for tuning in to this very first edition of Herban 2, live from Herban 2 studios. Again, it is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb. His name is Two. Two, what's happening, good brother?
What's up, Brody? I'm blessed and highly favored, man. How you?
If I was doing any better, I'd sell myself, man. I'm very, very excited, happy to be here in the new space, man. You like it?
I'm so excited. No, it's dope, G. I'm impressed, G. I was really proud of us. You know, we've been missing for a little while.
Yeah.
But we've been working hard as hell. I was finna open up and say, man, I missed y'all, but I be seeing you assholes all the time.
Sure,
we just ain't seen each other in this capacity.
We see each other more now than
You know
we
what I
have
mean?
probably any other time. Just been grinding this out, man. So happy to be in the new studio. First time since we like left out your kitchen. That we was like literally in our
shit.
own space.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
And
it's
we had
cool,
our
man.
greatest successes when we was doing our shit.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure, for
salute to everybody along the journey.
Yeah, man, it's
You
been
know,
wonderful. Shout out to
everybody except for one person, but even still.
shout out to that too, man. That was a cool.
No, the opportunity, not the person. Shout out to the opportunity, not the person.
Not carrying this.
I'm not letting that go. I don't give a
Not
fuck.
carrying this energy into 2024.
I'm carrying it into
man.
2024. I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. I hold grudges. I'm a Leo. It's in me. It's not going away. Fuck you forever. But either way, I'm not dealing in that energy, man. But point is, like, we've been through what I said. I think I said the other day, like 5 different iterations.
Right.
Right. And it's been a learning process, and we finally got into something of our own.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm really proud of us, man. Everybody. P, Ron, E, you, me. This is impressive, G.
Shout out to the whole team, man. It took everybody to get us here, and it's gonna take everybody to get us to the next spot. Most importantly, thank y'all for rocking with us, man. Thank y'all for supporting all iterations of what we have been doing. We appreciate y'all, man. But without any further ado, too, how was your weekend, man? You've been outside a little bit, my brother. You want to tell the people?
No, I haven't really.
Oh, okay.
I really ain't been outside.
Okay.
We went outside last night, G, but it was a complete failure. But it wasn't a complete failure, man. You had a dialogue
Right.
before the cameras
Right.
came on. But that is what it is, man. We've been outside since last time we've been on air.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have been outside in that way. But that's part of the new mission for 2024, too.
Sure.
You assholes say I don't come out enough.
You don't.
So I have to start coming out a little bit, showing my face in places, and being touchable, reachable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Nah,
So I said I'm gonna try my best. You know.
you don't be outside enough. I don't feel like people get to know you enough or feel you enough.
I think that's part of the brand, though, right? You're the touchable, reachable, personable one. I'm the asshole that's elusive. Yes, I say. I think it works. You have to have some level of mystery. I'm like Prince.
I'm like,
You never know. You know what I'm saying? If you can't get to Paisley Park, fuck you.
Prince was an asshole that was very reachable.
No, you can't get into Paisley Park. If you couldn't get to Paisley Park, you couldn't touch the dude. You know what I mean? He invited you over for pancakes at midnight. Everybody don't get to come.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Well, either way, man, happy to be here. Glad you had a good weekend. We hung out a little bit last night, and as we were, killing some time, we hit up a bar, and me, P, and Ryan had a drink, and you considered it, but
I had a Corona.
immediately thought better of it.
I didn't drink a drink. I had a beer.
But at first, you was like, "Yo, can I drink one of those?" I'm like, "Of course you can." He's like, "Nah, I better not."
Yeah, because we had something else to do, and I didn't want to fall
It
asleep.
was a freaking rum punch.
I don't give a fuck. I'm anti-alcohol, so no. And I only got the beer to be cool. It was girls there.
You know what was so wild about yesterday to me, man? Yesterday is my favorite day in the sports calendar out the year. It's the conference championships of the National Football League, and the way our day was set up yesterday, I knew I would miss about half of the first one, and I missed all of both of them. And I kind of went back and watched some, and it was some good games, man. I know everybody was rooting for the Black
Super
Bowl.
Bowl?
Yeah, in terms of Detroit versus Baltimore. Both of them lost.
I got issue with that, G.
With what?
The concept of calling that shit a black Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
I got issue with black people, which is, consistent with my behavior. You
Sure.
know what I mean? In the way that we see shit and the way we put false value and shit.
Uh-huh.
It just would have been a Super Bowl. And they just would have exerted more money out you niggas with a lie.
Right.
Every Super Bowl is a black Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's not you taking it out of context, bro.
I'm not. I know they're doing it based on the cities. You
Right.
know what I mean? Detroit's Detroit, Baltimore's Baltimore.
Right. It's not about the players.
Fuck
It's
out of
about
here.
the
It's a
cities.
Super Bowl with white people telling niggas what to do. They're gonna make money. It's a marketing ploy, right? I'm still on my Colin Kaepernick shit. Fuck all this football.
Cool, but I'm still saying you taking it out of context in terms of.
I'm not. I get the context that they leveraged the marketing ploy, but it's still just that. It's Jay-Z's Super Bowl halftime for me. It's like, come on, niggas, we need your money. Black Super Bowl.
No, this wasn't born from whiteness though. This was black people like, yo, we get a black Super Bowl in terms of the cities. This ain't San Francisco. This ain't Kansas City. This ain't Green Bay. This is Baltimore and Detroit. This is a nigga bowl.
I feel it,
You know
but
what
I
I'm
still
saying?
disagree. You know what I mean?
This is what the black people were talking about. I was rooting for them not for that reason.
I was rooting for them too, and I
I
don't
know
know.
you. City.
I do. Detroit,
I love
I
Baltimore
fuck
as
with
a
Detroit.
city.
I have fun in Baltimore too.
No, I love Baltimore. go places and move around in the hood like it's like that's where I'm supposed to be, like in the tourist spots.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hang out in West Baltimore on the corner and post up. Just chill.
Be in Baltimore a lot, G.
Yeah.
Eric graduating this year. He's been looking at the black college in Baltimore. Damn, I feel
Morgan
like
State?
an asshole. Morgan State, heavy. I gotta talk to T about that, man. But he really is interested in that shit.
Yeah, I know. Morgan State is on the short list of schools one of my shorties want to go to. So.
Carter said The Wire versus BMF.
Yes.
Oh God.
Who wins that?
The Wire versus BMF?
The Barksdales versus the Flannerys.
The Barksdales.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
In what capacity?
Whatever capacity you want.
Well, BMF was anti-violent.
Yeah, but they had a lot of shootings going on around them.
Yeah, but the mission was anti-violent.
Sure it was.
The Barksdales, Avon specifically was like,
Avon
I'm a
was-
gangster.
Yeah.
Well,
I ain't no suit wearing businessman like you.
violence wins.
I'm just a gangster, I
I'm
suppose.
just a gangster, I suppose.
He had Bird and Weebay. They didn't care nothing about
Not at all.
no business, no billboards, none of that. They was on what they was on. But I'm saying BMF had such a national presence, this conglomerate that they was in, LA, Detroit, Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? They had, holdings across the country, and Avon was like, I got the projects on the west side.
It's funny you mentioned that. I saw a Gucci Man interview the other day.
Right.
And I guess he was having a conversation with Blue Da Vinci about trying to be a part of BMF at his early stages.
Uh-huh.
And they wouldn't allow Gucci to be a part of it because they say, man, you rob too much, bro. You a thief.
Right.
Again, they have morals and standards and codes.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Barksdales didn't. And the Barksdales, I was going to say, both of them are like, I was going to say the Barksdales was a hypothetical organization, didn't really exist, it was for TV, but in real life it kind of did exist.
Yeah, no, it was based.
Right.
It was
based on a
loosely
true
based
story.
on a real person.
Yeah, it was based on a true story. So yeah, that's dope. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting question, guys. I like that as it's posed, but you're right. The Barks doesn't have no code. They murked
there's no code.
security guards and handymen and whoever else they thought needed to be murked.
Omar had a greater moral compass than the Barksdales, bro.
Omar never put his gun on nobody that wasn't in the game.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, it was different.
Lamar Jackson, man. Yes, that's another reason, right? I was supporting Lamar too, man. So Detroit being the city that it is, and I love Detroit, and I'm shout out to Lamar. Yeah, I would have loved to see him grab a Super Bowl, even though I'm anti-football for the last how many years. But oh well.
Oh well.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Who gonna win the Super Bowl now, cuz?
Who's gonna win now? The Chiefs.
Think so?
Yeah, there's just something about them. Even when they don't seem to be all that good, they got that.
They figured out.
They got that game changer back there in Patrick Mahomes that he overcomes everything. He's the Brady and Jordan of his era.
You think so?
Absolutely, man. Shorty it's only him.
Already? You saying that?
It's a him and Brady. He's a Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks right now. Right now, if he don't take another snap, he's on Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks with the Bradys, the Montanas of the world. He like that. Which blows me about the situation the Bears find themselves in right now with the potential to draft Caleb Williams out of USC with the number 1 pick.
I think that's a bad move, and again, I'm not paying attention to football like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad move, right? One, Caleb, if I remember correctly, I thought it was a news story that said if he gets drafted by the Bears, he's gonna stay at school.
Yeah, that was cap. That was a false report.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a false report. But I saw it too. But it was a false report.
I don't know. We'll see. What do you think they're gonna do?
I think they might. I'm leaning towards they're probably going to draft him. I'm totally against it. I think they should stay with Justin and build around him. But I mentioned him because people are comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, talking about Caleb Williams, right? And it's like, bruh, I'm talking about a top 2, top 4 for sure, all-time quarterback in the history of the game. This idea that y'all assume you're just going to draft one of those right out of college is nuts. Like that's not true.
Yeah, SC, right?
Yeah, he came out of USC.
Yeah, so I think all that shit is hypothetical in the context of you ain't seen no NFL defense for real either. You know what I mean? So I hate when motherfuckers do that. Like,
crapshoot.
You never know.
It's such a crapshoot, man. It's like it's not even real like that. In my lifetime, at least since I've been old enough to really follow it like that, there have been 3 can't miss quarterback prospects to come out that I thought that going into the draft. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, and Deshaun Watson. It's the only 3 times I've ever thought that in life. Deshaun Watson has his massage issues, whatever. Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck lived up to the billing. It just so happened that the Indianapolis Colts got both of them, right? They had Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck almost back to back for 20 years. It netted them 1 Super Bowl. It don't really matter like that. You got to have a whole team. And so this idea that Shorty gonna come here and do it by herself is crazy. I've been on a sports world tour having this conversation with mostly people who disagree with me, but just telling the truth in every radio outlet or TV program and podcast, and so people are very mad at me in the Bears Twitter sphere. But I don't care. They're entitled to that opinion.
But you know what, though, G? I know we have you on the sports right now, right? And in America, industry survives on marketing and advertising. It just is what it is, right? So they attach brand commitments, they attach ideas to these kids early on because it's about capital.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can sell you anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the core of it, winning ain't really the goal of this game. Sales is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the Bears would exist if winning mattered.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it a bean, right? Shit, the Bulls for that matter. I just learned the other day that the Bulls was like top 3 in jersey sales.
Yeah.
You're like, when the last time the Bulls won some shit?
And they've sold out the United Center for like
forever. You know what I mean? Like, don't compete at all. You know what I mean? So, but it's about marketing. You know what I mean? And I think about it in the context of everything.
Yeah.
Right? We sold on these ideas. We buy into them. Legitimately, Trump is about to be our next president. That's because he's marketed himself in a way that even black people are beginning to believe in the allure of who Donald Trump is, when he's really the Antichrist, in my opinion. I know you got
Trump 2024.
I know, because marketing works on you. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it fucking does.
Don't do that. Don't
Yes,
do that.
It does.
Don't do that. You know very well my stance on the presidential election and why I'm like put dude in office. So don't do that.
Yeah. Well, but it ain't just that, right? It's the conversation around the migrants. It's every conversation is entrenched in this marketing, branding movement, and it creates an understanding where people either on this side or this side. But very rarely are people actually doing the research themselves. You know what I mean? And that's some of the conversations we wanted to have today, man. I know we had talked about the story about the immigrants that moved into the crib, into the building on Essex. G Herbo block.
Yeah.
No limit.
Essex.
No limit. What up? What's up with No Limit, G?
Never leave my brothers.
Never leave my brothers.
Until the Venezuelans come.
You about to leave them. You about to leave all your brothers. I hate that I'm laughing at it because it's not funny.
Nah.
Right? But where's that energy when 57 Venezuelans move into the building?
I mean, I think it speaks to the lack of control, right? Like the whole world know this as her block. But he said it's my block, and I'm gonna put however many Venezuelans right here as I want to.
57. I said it right. It was 57 in one building.
Yeah.
And they called the police on them because they believed they was breaking in the building.
Right.
Right. But landlord Chris Amator opened the doors for him. Right. And it was a total white dude. Right. But this is what's interesting to me. Of course, it was a conversation because it happened on Essex. In the hood. Everybody, Herb named his baby Essex. Like, you know what I mean? The block has a brand itself at this point.
Sure.
Right. But let's think about the brand that Herb built around that block. Right. It was the brand of violence, the never leave my brothers, no limit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We do this, we do that. It's that kind of area, right? And Chris Amateur, whose block it really is.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Decides to move in 57 migrants. Right? But what was interesting to me in that story is that as he kept speaking, right, over the last 9 days, he's housed 448 migrants in, I think he said 14 of the buildings he's owned. I wonder how many of those 14 buildings are around that surrounding area. You know what I mean? And to think about being able to, this is one man making the decision and being able to house roughly 500 people. It's a lot of, the nuance in this conversation is fucking amazing to me.
So here's the thing, like, motherfuckers don't do shit until they can find it beneficial to them, right? So you done had plenty of people that struggled with housing on 79th Street for as long as Chris Amatore has owned those properties, I'm sure. But until it's beneficial, until it can get my face on the news or my name in the headlines, I don't care nothing about all you niggas sleeping on the street. Oh, but now it's this migrant conversation, and I can be hailed as, you know, this savior or this hero, and now all of a sudden I got ample space to house the houseless. And I think that that's as interesting as anything else. What I also found interesting was the video that they kept running of said migrants cleaning up the block, right? And I thought that part to be interesting too, because either Chris was like, y'all can come, but clean up in front of my shit, or two, they was like, we'll come, but if this is where we live, it matters to us, and we just clean up the fucking block. Either way, I think that there's a conversation to be had about how we treat the places where we live. And shout out to brother Sal Dunlap, the general, who's made it his mission to talk about cleaning up the communities inside out and the value of living in clean environments and what it does to impact you internally as much as externally. And so for them to have that video of them people just come out there and literally on the corner of 79th and Exodus just picking up all the trash and debris was like interesting on a lot of levels.
This is show one.
Yeah.
And we're getting back to our origins.
Yes.
So I'm going to start this conversation with the quote by Neely Fuller that says,
absolutely,
until you fully understand white supremacy, everything you think you understand will only confuse you, right? So when I had a conversation, him housing those 57 migrants in that building because of the goodness in his heart, there was also a sister in that same interview, right? Random, you know how the news do. Hey, little nigga, come here. Let me holler at you. Right? She just walking down the block on that.
I was prom queen at King High School.
High School, right? But look, they grab her. They grab her, they talking to her.
Right.
And she was like, you know, I don't think it's wrong for you to help anybody. This is a random sister.
Right.
But me and my son was homeless a few years ago.
Sure.
And nobody gave a fuck.
Nobody cared that they were unhoused.
Nobody gave a fuck.
Right.
Right? So I think to have that conversation and kind of exclude the idea of how race plays into his kindness,
sure,
is not a real statement.
But I also think that it's important to note where you house these people at, right? I'm sure that's not your only property. But I'm also sure that you could not have housed them in Lincoln Park or Wrigleyville. You could have had a building right there. Ain't no way in hell, right? It wouldn't have been this good, well-to-do news story. It would have been a bunch of neighbors like, no, the fuck, you're not putting them right here. You know what I'm saying? I think that also speaks to the lack of value for us, the lack of power that we have, and just watching how the entire city has moved. It ain't just a Chris, whatever his name is, conversation. The whole city moved heaven and earth when all those migrants came here. All of a sudden we could find housing and shelter, and if not, just put them in all the police stations until we figure it out. What? Now the police department, CPD, has this level of empathy? Not that it was their decision individually as officers, but that's the persona y'all carrying with the CPD now? It's like, nah.
So I think the nuance is interesting, though.
And they replacing you. We're going to put them where you used to be.
I think the nuance is interesting, though. A few weeks ago, a video came out where there was a meeting at City Hall around the migrant population, and there was a group of migrants inside this meeting, obviously some black residents as well. Mm-hmm. And as I don't know the context of the whole meeting, but as they was leaving out, and this is the video that was released,
right,
and a migrant who could barely speak English was like, no more money for you, lazy.
Really?
Quote, no more money for you, lazy.
Yeah.
Right? So think about how America has kind of shaped these narratives and branded like the black community, even you saying they out there cleaning up.
Right.
that speaks to how we treat our shit.
Right.
Right. But it's also a reflection of how we are treated. Right.
True.
Innately, in order to show love, you must first know love.
True.
You know what I mean? So the random sister that was walking down the block, as random as she was, she had been in the exact same position as the migrants XYZ years ago, or
Right.
maybe who knows when, right? And the world did to her what they do to black people consistently. I don't give a fuck.
They don't care.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Right? So they have an expectation of us that is not shown to us. Right?
Right.
And I think that's very interesting, but I also know that traditionally how city planning works is it's phases and stages, right? And even just outside of city planning, I don't know any black institutions that exist really with any power in the city of Chicago right now, right? So what do you do to combat this movement to push black people outside the city? You know what I mean? When you do shit like, I don't know where the rest of Chris Armatore's buildings are,
Sure.
but if it's 14 of them, they on Essex, goddammit. They all might be on that one block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a 448 increase in population in any community is a humongous increase in population. And they gonna come with their customs, they gonna come with their cultures, they gonna come with their crimes, they coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As is.
As is.
Right. Whatever that means.
Whatever that fucking means.
Sure.
And how do we adjust to that? Or should we be adjusting to that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it should be incumbent upon us to have to adjust to that. I think if anything, it's like you come to my crib. I don't give a fuck what you do at your house. In my house, we take off our shoes, or we speak a certain way, or you know what I'm saying? We handle the furniture a certain way. Like, I don't give a fuck what you do at your crib. Over here, this is how things go, but I don't think we've ever had that kind of footing to even dictate behaviors in our own environment. So I think you see that. I mean, but also to the business point of what you were talking about in terms of how things go in the city of Chicago, having all those properties throughout the black communities is regular and vacant, and they leave them that way intentionally, right? Let them get dilapidated, let them get all run down, get the money on the back end. So now what's your back end? But I was just saying in the comments, like, dude getting paid for that shit. And I'm sure he is.
If he wasn't, he will be.
Yeah.
There's definitely opportunity there. I'm not confused about it, right? But it all, again.
But I'm just saying, you done had that building sitting there vacant for
boarded up
years.
The nigga said it was boarded up.
All of them are, bro.
But it was heated, right?
Had water, had electricity.
Right? He's paying all the utilities. One, what kind of bread you got? Well, he got 14 buildings to house migrants in. Not talk about where his residents are. You got motherfuckers paying you too, cuz.
Sure.
And Chris looked like he just came from a goddamn hay bale throwing match. Like, he do not look like money in the traditional sense of how we see money.
Okay.
Right? But that also speaks to the difference in black wealth and white wealth.
Right.
Right? Here's a nondescript ass white man who's obviously worth X amount of millions of dollars.
What the fuck I gotta prove to you, nigga?
Right? The 14 bills that he housed migrants in says, nigga, you got a bag.
Right.
Right? So when you think about that in context, G, the water is on, the heat is on, but this, I'm not even looking for the money out this shit. It's boarded up.
Oh, this is all investment. I can just have it sitting here for a while because I know the plans be 20 years out. So if I got this building in 2000 and I know you niggas gonna be gone by 2020, and then I can flip these into condos, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It ain't shit for me to keep the water on. I don't want to have to re-pipe this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I keep the water on. That's cool.
Obama Library coming.
It take
Essex is down the street.
Take 10 minutes to turn the lights on.
Yeah, I'm finna get a bigger bag, right?
Yeah.
And now I see a new opportunity.
But
where
in
I can
Chicago, you can't have this building sit here winter after winter without having.
Oh yeah, it's over.
All that's gonna bust you fucked it up.
It'll kill it, man. Yeah, it's finna get interesting out here. But more again, the narratives that are shaped up was interesting to me, right?
Right.
The narrative that Chris is the savior, right?
Cherie, what up?
The narrative that the migrants themselves, the one leaving out of City Hall, fuck y'all lazy, no more money for you. The concept, the ideas that come to the table, right? How long these migrants been here? XYZ months?
Right.
Right? But the narrative is you niggas is lazy.
Well, that's the narrative across the world, right? So whether you talk about migrants from, South American countries, or you talk about, people coming over from the continent, the narrative is black people in America is lazy and they don't want to do shit, and that's their problem, right? Mm-hmm. And so you even get Africans coming over here, and that's been their teachings. That's what they've been taught to believe about us from jump. So they get here and they like, oh yeah, you niggas who off the bam. So it ain't just Venezuelans coming over here. That's what the international narrative is about Black Americans.
How long does it take for a lie to become the truth?
Once you hear it twice, it ain't a rumor no more. That's what I always say. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was like, yo, I met this girl today, and the dude was like, man, she a busser. And I was like, yeah, you don't even move around. Then I went to somewhere else, and then you was like, shorty a busser. Now she's a busser. It doesn't really matter if she is or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, once you hear it twice, it ain't a rumor no more. Perception is reality. I'm not saying that to say that I just believe what anybody says. What I'm saying is the perception becomes the reality. It don't have to be true for it to be the reality and have certain outcomes based on that perception.
So when there's nothing there to counter that narrative or challenge that narrative, and I'm speaking specifically for us in our community, talking to us in our community, right? As we get further and further away from, I don't know, institutional, Black institutions, right? There's nowhere in America where there's an uplifting Black narrative outside of Black institutions.
Right.
And as we get away from Black institutions, we adapt more ideas that are, you know, harmful to ourselves, right? So on one, again, back to the sister, right, who they randomly found on the Brandon block. Her first statement was, I mean, I think you should help people if you could help people, but nobody gave a fuck
What
about
people?
me.
Right.
Right? So in one vein, in the same statement, she's saying, hey, man, I'm with helping these migrants through whatever.
Yeah, that's our nature.
Right? Is it our nature, or have we been conditioned to be these people? And the conditioning is getting greater and greater and greater. For me, the concept is this shit is war.
Sure.
Right? And I don't know how the fuck you a warrior and empathetic simultaneously.
Yeah, I don't think as a collective we view it that way. I don't think as a collective we view it as war. That's what I'm saying. I think it's our nature to more so be empathetic, more so be welcoming. It's why, you know what I'm saying, Big Mama let your friends come over and eat. It's why, you know what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of stuff. We're like that. I think it's our nature being, you know, original people from the equator in a place of abundance. I just think that's just who we are. And then other people are like, I'll kill you about this shit. And I don't know that, even in all evidence to the contrary, I don't think we've grasped that fully. And so then you get the outcomes you get, and then people get to control the narrative based on the media and all of that shit. And then anything you do thereafter to support that runs as the complete narrative. It's why anywhere you go around this country, people are gonna be like, yo, if you Black and say you're from Chicago, they're gonna be like, you from O Block? What the fuck are you talking about? You have no idea what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Not only in terms of what O Block is or where it is or how big it is or none of that, you just don't know what you're talking about. Or people just talk about the violent narrative of Chicago in general. They don't know nothing about all the Black love shit, all the cool things that go on in the city, because the narrative controls everything. So then when you have an event, like we're about to talk about what happened with them teens getting killed downtown at the school, now that just validates everything that I already wanted to believe. Dispelling a rumor that you didn't create and you don't control.
So I think that goes right into this conversation about where are those Black institutions that are countering the white narrative of negativity, right? So last week, 2 Innovations high school students were slain in the middle of downtown at lunchtime.
Right.
One boy, Robert Boston, was 16. Another one, Monterio Williams, was 17, right? I had a personal interaction with this, not in the regards of like personally knowing them kids, but that video got sent to me. You know how motherfuckers send a video and you don't know what it is, so you click on it and you look at it. Gee, I had a physical reaction to that fucking video, Gee. I teared up around that shit, bro. That shit hurt my heart, right? Patah said them teens was assassinated, and I fully agree. You know what I mean? It was under the L platform. Apparently, when it happened, there was somebody on the L platform filming. And filming from their vantage point gave a direct view of one shorty who was obviously already passed, and another one that was transitioning, in process of transitioning.
Right.
And like you could see the life leaving this boy on video.
Right.
And you could see the pain of the students. You could see it's like 2 or 3 girls around screaming and crying, and it was just painful to watch, bro. And I think about that in context to the conversation we were just having. Like, all my life, I've had a counter narrative, right? Yeah, I grew up in the hood. Yeah, I got the dope boys over here. Yeah, I got the murderers over here. I know everybody, right? But down the street, we got Johnson & Johnson. Mm-hmm. Down the street over here, we got the president of the Urban League. Down the street over here, we got, whomever, right? Sundays, I was at the mosque.
Right.
With my old man. Saturdays, I was at Operation Push. So I was being exposed to the gamut, right? Like, yeah, this is happening on 95th, but right over here, it's all this other shit happening, right? So I had this full brevity of exposure. You had the same experience in being able to go to Whitney Young. It's just what Chicago provided, right?
Sure.
And we talk a lot about how Chicago is just, it's kind of the hub of Black America, right? So traditionally, most of us have some experiences with, again, the brevity of that conversation, right? Today, though, with the erasure of those institutions, right, or at least they don't have the viability they once had, the shorties don't get that brevity. So if you in the hood, for you, Chicago is just the hood. I saw somebody else, and I don't even know, it might have been a white, it was somebody from a different country, actually. Mm-hmm. They were driving down Wacker and filming, and they was amazed by the beauty and majesty of Chicago, right? We did a documentary a few years ago, and I remember taking Munchie downtown, and we went down Wacker Drive. But we also had to hit the underground.
I was hoping that's where you were going with that. Go
right?
ahead.
And Munchie was like, now Munchie is from 79th Street, bro.
Right.
This man was in his 20s.
Right.
We got down there, he said, "Too, this still Chicago?"
Yeah.
Like, for me, that was a life-altering moment.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So Munchie is part of that demographic. What I'm saying, for him, Chicago is 79th Street, right? It ain't even the brevity of 79th Street.
Sure.
It's 79 from King to Cottage.
Sure.
Right? And I think that the vast majority of these shorties are entranced in a world where they're not having any exposure outside of that. They're not reading, they're not, you know what I mean? Like, a book is a passport to the world, but you're not engaged, and nothing's inspiring you to even learn about you.
So, like, what's interesting about Wacker specifically for me is that, you can ride above on Wacker, and you got the skyline, you got the riverfront, you got all this opulence and shit around you. Just under that slab of concrete is Lower Wacker. And you can see all kinds of homeless people living under a bridge. You know what I mean? And I just think that dichotomy is Chicago, like,
in general.
That's just what it is. Right here, boom, look at this. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Just below the surface, though, is what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? It's just
That's a hell of an analogy.
Just below the surface, it's right here. You know what I'm saying? You on top of it, like, oh, this is wonderful. People right below that slab of concrete is like, I live on the street next to rats the size of dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's.
Oh, some whole other shit real quick. You know I be on the bike crazy, right? So a few years ago, I'm riding down Lower Wacker, and I take this motherfucker like all the way to Chicago Avenue, like through all kind of shit. And I'm coming back, and I'm learning some shit. I was like, I ain't never seen this part. Where does this go?
Right.
So I go in here, and it's not actually a street. It just leads into a parking garage.
Okay.
But a parking garage that I had never seen in my life. And I'm on my bike, and it's not the time that you should be on the bike on Lower Wacker in a parking garage.
No.
Gee, that shit was like a thriller video. I got so deep in there, and I was like, oh, these zombie motherfuckers coming at me.
It's different. No, it's different, Joe. Like,
I got to fuck about it so quick.
So, you know how they got the trend going around the social media where it's like, I'm from Chicago. Of course we off the band. I'm from Chicago. Of course. So they get a lot of them be like, of course we don't be on Lower Wacker. I know Lower Wacker very, very well, and it's a very useful tool to navigate if you know how, right? You can get from one part of downtown to another very efficiently if you know how to use it. You can also go down there and get your dumb ass stuck for a half hour, right? That being said, it's absolutely places down there where you're like, yo, what is this going on back up in here, right? It's an interesting place, but I think that, like, even on that piece, or like, I know you and Patai was saying that the two young brothers, and rest in peace to them, that they were assassinated. I would push back on that term. I think they were definitely targeted for sure, right? They were targeted and hit intentionally, but I don't want to say assassin. I don't want to put them on par with the Martin Luther King Jr.'s of the world or the Malcolm X's of the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's that when Chris Rock was like, people be talking about Biggie and Pac got assassinated. No, they wasn't. Them two niggas got shot. You know what I'm saying? Intentionally for sure, but assassinated, no. I think them shorties got caught up in the system that's designed for them to get caught up in, did some shit that I wish they hadn't been doing, and then some other shorties knew where to catch them up at and caught them, and didn't give a fuck that it was broad daylight downtown. And I think those institutions that you're talking about, I think they still exist. I think there's still far more good that happens in this city than bad, but going back to the narrative and going back to the control of media, you don't get to hear about them as much. Like you talk about all the time, you used to be able to see Farrakhan on daytime television, but even outside of that, you were able to get out and experience things differently. Now, if it don't come to your phone, motherfuckers do not know it. They aren't seeking different experiences, seeking different information. They're only seeking what the algorithm tells them is for them. And when it's like that, anything that you don't know, you are unlikely to become aware of. And that creates as big a divide between all the great things that happen in Chicago versus all the challenges that we experience in Black Chicago.
I think that's why I say those institutions don't exist no more, though. Right? Because it's, you know, I know you say it, and you have a different demo than me. If it don't come to your phone, you don't know it. You ain't interested, right? But TV ain't much different. You know what I mean? Sure. It's just the phone is hyper, right? But again, with the infusion of those institutions, their job, the development of them, creates an environment where their goal is to push back. You know what I mean? It just is what it is, right? There was a moment, the inception of hip hop was pushing back. You know what I mean? I tell you all the time, most of the shit I learned about the 5%ers, the Moors, we can go down the line, was through music. You know what I mean? Because the institution of hip hop was pushing back on what America was doing to black people. What I'm saying now is that those institutions are lagging because white supremacy is now dominating black institution and black thought. Right? So I'm gonna go with them boys was assassinated. And I say it in the context of what the definition of assassination means. Right? And what it basically means is be surprised, murdered for political or religious reasons. Right? We don't usually look at Black Death as political. It's political than a motherfucker.
Whether
they know it or not, you a pawn in the political game.
All right, I go with that.
You know what I mean?
By that definition and through that context, they're all assassinations.
Yeah, right. And this is hyper. You know what I mean? And again, in this environment,
But that's to say assassinated by the government or assassinated by the powers that be, not assassinated by the niggas that pulled the trigger. They just killed them.
It don't matter who.
No, I get you, but I'm just saying for me to accept this, and I do accept the definition that you're giving about assassination. The perpetrators of said assassination are at a much higher level than some shorties pulling triggers.
Yeah. But as this shit gets more and more brazen, I don't know. In a minute, right? Who the fuck gets away with murder at noon in downtown? Name another fucking downtown in America like downtown Chicago.
But for people in a system where we don't necessarily have a certain value for this life. If this was on the Gold Coast, we'd have figured it out. Shit, they figured out who killed Duck, and they didn't give a fuck about that. It just happened on Oak Street. You can't do that here, sir. You know what I'm saying? Like not here. If they would have killed Duck on 63rd and St. Lawrence, nobody would have given a fuck.
But the reason why that was news, and the reason why their conviction was news, and the reason why we know about those stories is because that was political.
Yeah.
Hey, white folks down here, we want you to know
This is
we
not
got these niggas under control.
Y'all good down here.
Y'all good.
Okay, you can still come till the all the stores you want to go to down here. All
Hey, Gucci, we ain't fucking up the taxes.
you can come in here, man.
Spend that money, Gucci.
No problem.
You know what I mean?
Right? It's perfectly fine.
We're gonna punish these niggas.
That's the most expensive block in the city. It's got the fucking Alexander Wangs and the Jimmy Choos and the Gucci. Like it's all right there. Like you can't y'all did what down here?
Niggas know the price of everything and the value of nothing.
The nerve of y'all to come down here and do some shit like this.
Yeah, but all that shit is political.
It
bro.
speaks to our own ignorance of our own circumstances, right? On one hand, we think the same way. On one hand, Duck thought, because I'm on Oak Street and the Gold Coast, I'm fine. Dirk know he's fully immersed in the bullshit, but even his own acceptance of this American dream or this white society had him believe not here. Yes, here too. The difference is it matters here, right? And I think that double-edged sword is kind of, I don't know, man. It's an interesting dichotomy to both be simultaneously fully immersed in the 63rd, 64th Street shit, but also think that it's cool for me to go to the Gold Coast because I'm down here with these white people and it's cool and it's fine. Now I can go shopping in broad day and them niggas like, no. But then the city also, something that would have happened 3 miles south, they're like, no, you can't do that here, bro.
See, but I argue that you're not fully immersed in the 63rd Street, 64th Street shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd argue that the only thing you fully immersed in is your understanding of white supremacy. Your own understanding of blackness is coming through one lens.
Okay.
So you don't have any value for 64th and 63rd. Hence, you're not entrenched in it.
Goes back to the Venezuelans on day one cleaning up the block that you've been on forever.
I agree, but that's also about institution, right? That's Woodline, bro. Woodline is fucking historic to this city. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Historic, but we don't even know the value of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So again, I think we're being educated and shaped by one lens now, right? And that's scary as fuck, right? I went to Beasley, you went to Young.
Right.
Similar, but not the same.
Sure.
Right? Contextually, at the time you were at Young, it was a black high school.
Yeah.
Whitney Young is not a black high school today.
No.
Right? Beasley, at the time that I was at Beasley, it was the premier academic grammar school in the country. Like Bill Clinton monkey ass had to come to Beasley, of all places. Right? When Robert Taylor was standing tall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you look out the window, nigga, that's
Everything can happen to your ass.
everything can happen to your ass. You understand what I'm saying? But over on this side of the street,
Right.
we're producing, quote unquote, air quotes, the leaders of tomorrow.
For sure.
Right? That was the
Not
investment.
air quotes. Literally.
It was air quotes. I went there. It was air quotes. It was air quotes.
No, I
No.
know the people who lead this shit down. I know where they went to grammar school.
No, it's air quotes. Trust me, it was air quotes. Maybe doing my generation, it was air quotes. Maybe your generation produced some different shit. It was air quotes like a motherfucker for buying. But whatever, I still love the people. You
I
know
mean,
what
it's
I'm
both. You got some of both, but you definitely got some of those leaders that went to Beasley.
saying? Yeah, okay. You know.
The truth. It is what it is.
But either way, my point is this, right? That was an investment in black institution. You know what I mean? Like the people that came through them doors was the children of this guy, the children of that person. You know what I mean? They were all vested in black shit. That was why I was there.
Chino said there were no windows.
That's true.
You can't see the Robert
They
Taylor.
wouldn't even let you see that disparity.
Don't
you know
look
what I'm saying?
down there.
But I was the nigga that got in trouble, so I had to take the CTA home. I saw it every day. I had to deal with that shit.
Don't
but
look down there.
But yeah, man, it's just interesting to think of that black Chicago versus this black Chicago. Like I'd send my children to, air quotes,
Sure.
black schools, black institutions.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself fighting with those same institutions because the curriculum and the ideas that my children were coming home with were not entrenched in what I thought was the value of putting them in those institutions.
But I feel like that is the black experience in Chicago, right? So for me, prior to my exposure to Indiana, the world wasn't but so big. It didn't exist but from 67th to 79th Street. Stony to the water, that was earth. You know what I mean? And then you have these other experiences in the city, or just going around, or following my brother through basketball. He used to have like AAU tournaments all over the place, right? Everywhere. And then just based on where we lived at and some of his other teammates lived at, my mother would usually take Jay straight home. Shout out to Jason Straight, went to Dunbar, right? She would take Jay straight home. Jay lived in Robert Taylor's. Now we coming back from wherever on these basketball tournaments. It's usually 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when we pull up. Now we done been to all these opulent places and seen all these gyms, and we done been at Duke in North Carolina. But now we pull up and this, like, y'all two been hot shit the whole everywhere. And you get out and it's still like you gotta run straight to the door because they are shooting like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that having to navigate those worlds is just the common black experience in Chicago. If you're lucky, you're definitely gonna experience this part of it. Experiencing the other part of it is just a maybe. You know what I'm saying? If some shit go your way.
But I wonder if that plays a part in the perspective of our youth too, though, right?
How could it not?
Like I think there was some clear distinctions of how fucked up you were when I was a child.
Sure.
Right? Like, not trying to be funny, right?
But it was based on superficial shit, I'm sure.
Superficial or not, shit was what it was. You understand? Like, yeah, we fucked up, but we ain't over there fucked up. We across the street fucked up. Like, you could see that it was blaring differences. You understand? Glaring, right?
Oh, 100%.
So, my son, 18, bro, he ain't never seen a housing project. He been in some low rises. He been to Argyle. We still got family in Argyle. Princeton, loaded homes are still there. But on average, like, if you think about State Street, 55th to 22nd was good times, goddammit. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just saying 55th to State. We can go to West Side. We can go, the West Side of my childhood is not the West Side of today.
Can you still picture those moments? Like right now where the, what's the name of the grocery store on 39th? What's that shit called? The green one.
39.
Right off King Drive.
39 King. I'm trying to put it in my head.
Mariano's. Thanks, Pete.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. So can you still picture the Wells being right there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I went to Delbar. I was at the.
That's what I'm saying. But like to still have that image of Ida B. Wells right there, and then now it's like, damn. Even like now when you're going over by Robert Taylor's and you start to go just west of State Street, it just feels weird. Ain't nothing but open space right there. But if you navigate those spaces, it still just feels weird. Like, yo, all of these was just huge structures or vast structures. At least the IWS weren't huge structures, but just vast. And it's like once you get up inside of that, you're on your own, Jack. You know what I'm saying? It's a different code. It's a different way to navigate. And it's like now to see it all so differently is just like weird.
But again,
the movie theaters and shit that's in,
and that's why I asked, like, how do you think that affects like the psyche, right? Again, I was exposed to a lot of shit. Mm-hmm. Though I'm from 95th, I spent a lot of time in a lot of different housing complexes because I got a lot of family that lived in certain housing complexes. Right. But I got partners who born and raised same era I was born and raised in, never been inside a project in their life. Right. But like you said, they have these kind of outward ideas about what exists in those projects. Right. One of the things I always recognize about the projects, all of the projects, I always had fun as a kid because it's a goddamn gang of kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there's also a lot of love there. It's a lot of community there. It's interesting, man. Like, my greatest experience of real community in Chicago, even though Chicago's the black epicenter, is projects and the West Side. I've never felt the sense of community that I felt in the projects on the West Side that I just feel being on a South Side resident. I've never felt that same sense of community. Right. But like you said, the laws and policies and standards change throughout those communities, right? The politics of those communities change. Right. So even going back to me going to Dunbar or whatever, coming from 95th Street, where we lived, I could take the King Drive bus straight shot down. It take forever, but it's the easiest. I ain't got to walk at all. You know what I'm saying? I got to get on the train and walk a couple blocks. So on some lazy shit, I can get up and just get on the King Drive bus and go slow. You know what I mean? Back then, Parkway was Parkway and not O Block. Right. But Parkway was also not a project. right? So I would get to 63rd Street and was as comfortable as I was on 95th Street, right? But as I got further and further down toward that low end, I started paying more and more attention to everybody who got on that goddamn bus. You know what I mean? I was very alert, very aware. And engaging through Dunbar, like you had to learn the currency of those places. Today, they don't really have to learn the currency of those places, right? And maybe they do, but because it's not as glaring anymore, right? And because they're kind of restricted. It's funny, we're in the information age, we're going global, but the culture of at least black youth in Chicago is they're being raised inside their home.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're being raised, again, like I said, those institutions don't have any value anymore. So it's television, it's media, it's the internet, it's Instagram, it's all these things. And all these things are pushing a very specific message. You don't have any fucking value unless you have Gucci, unless you have whatever, you know, Tom Ford or whatever the ugly ass black boat shoes that every nigga had on yesterday.
They so bad.
Oh, this is the worst fucking, I don't even know why you look like bowling shoes and you paying $800 for that goofy shit.
Imagine being 50 plus and trying to present like you 16.
You saw that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh my God. You got on shiny shit and big ass.
How you 50 wearing rhinestones, bro? How you 14 wearing rhinestones? But 50 is disrespectful.
This is tough to accept.
That's
and
disrespectful.
not just like on a pocket of your jeans.
Yeah, it was a rhinestone outfit.
It was a rhinestone
Nigga had on the whole rhinestone fit.
with patent leather Alexander McQueen's on or some shit. Like hey, this is not okay.
That's what those shoes are, Alexander McQueen's?
Some of them are. I don't know which ones he had on, but they all these fat ass boat shoes.
Eric got them. They're horrible.
They're hideous.
Yeah, they're horrible.
They're hideous.
Yeah, he looked like a full-out circus clown.
My partner's son, he was like one of six. They was like $600. He wanted to wear them just to, I don't know, the homecoming or some shit. I'm like, yo.
I don't know how Eric got his, but if
that's what you want to do.
Yeah, my son probably took it from somebody else. If I was a betting man.
He hustled up on his 600 and that's what he spent it on. If that's what you want to do, what else are you wearing? Don't matter. Don't matter. Like,
we was the same around Mike's though.
Yeah, but they were $600. I mean, they made relatively.
Relative, they
also
$600.
weren't ugly. More importantly.
Again, it's all relative.
No, it's not. They weren't ugly.
It's all relative.
This is not subjective.
It's all relative.
Mike's were not ugly. The hell.
Can't just say bedazzled jeans is wild as fuck in 2024. It's
Bedazzled
especially
jeans
wild as
is
fuck when a
wild.
nigga wearing them is 63.
Right. That makes it over wild.
And he didn't just have on rhinestone jeans. He had on a rhinestone hoodie.
All up his legs,
he had a rhinestone
I think he
jeans.
might have had on a hat. He had it down the side. Like,
He had soul glow in his hair.
just let just. Hey, have y'all seen Family Business? It's a show that come on like BET Plus. It's got a bunch of actors that you would know throughout, black stuff. Not like A-list, but like B-list type shit, right?
It's like upward. It's upward. It's bougie Tubi.
Yes. it's
Bougie Tubi.
It's pull out your gun, pow, ketchup packet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that kind of shit.
And I can't fuck with Tubi no more too. I told you that.
You don't like Tubi no more?
I can't watch it no more.
I thought that was your shit.
I tried. G,
What
but
happened?
Fox owns it. I can't support white shit.
Oh, well, how do you live?
I stayed to myself in the house.
All this shit is white. No, so I was watching the show, and it is the best, worst show ever. Like, it's
The kind of show I love.
Oh my God. Like, I couldn't stop watching it because it had a decent enough plot, but it was so corny, and the wild shit was just like, what the whole fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the hair and makeup shit was what made me think of it. Because you're talking about the bedazzled hair. Nigga, the level of paint jobs that was on these haircuts and the wigs with the big ass orange sea river part down the middle of these women's shit. Oh, it was pure comedy. Pure comedy. But
why we do that though?
I don't know. I watched the whole series. Had me in a chokehold, but I laughed at the haircut.
I'll watch all that shit.
And the Beijing shit the whole time.
I'll watch all that shit. But again, like why do we do that? Why is it the Beijing? Why is it the
4 seasons of foolishness. Yeah, that's on Netflix now.
Super what they call that shit? The helmets the women be wearing.
The lace front shots?
Yeah, it's just put it on the mouth. That shit.
Not to put it on our mouth.
Why they do that? Why do people do that?
Because somebody tells them it's cute. I blame you niggas for that shit.
I don't have that problem. What the fuck you talking about?
I blame you niggas for that shit, man. Somebody likes it. Niggas be like, don't nobody like that shit? Bullshit. Some of you niggas out here liking these 15
Nobody, I don't think
fingernails.
nobody like it, G. It's just, you see the little video circulating
Somebody
where
likes
they in the mall talking to the women, they say BBL, regular body, what do you think men prefer? And every woman says BBL. Then they talk to men, they say, what do you prefer, BBL or regular body? And every man says regular. Natural.
Yeah, but I think you niggas be capping. I think if somebody stops and asks you the question, you're gonna give what you think is the right answer. But if one of them walks past, regular body woman walk past, BBL body woman walk past, and I ain't talking about the nasty, crazy, this looks stupid one, but something that actually catches your eye. Everybody turning their head this way. It's like, y'all capping, Joe.
Brian Todd said, so bad you have to see how it ends or how much worse it can get.
Yeah.
I be liking that shit. I don't be thinking it's bad. I don't know why I like it. I like it.
I said it was the best worst show ever. Like, I'm not hating on it. I'm not even trying to tell you I didn't like it. Told you it had me in a chokehold. I watched all 4 seasons of it. We couldn't stop watching this shit. But it was tough.
Candace said somebody lying about the BBL and natural body, G. I don't think nobody,
I agree. Somebody's lying.
I don't think nobody lying at all. I think that's the power of media. Check this out. I just shared this the other day, right?
Uh-huh.
The stereotype of black people in eating watermelons.
Right.
You know where that comes from?
Yes. It was narratives that they put out, after slavery to kind of limit our ability to earn.
Right. We wasn't granted plots. We had small plots of land, so it was one of the crops that you could really grow,
right,
and they could really make bread. And they was making a lot of fucking bread off watermelon.
Yeah.
Right? So they just shame.
I gotta shame you niggas out of eating what you like.
Niggas out of their capital. Right? And that's what I'm saying about the entirety of the conversation. Without black institution pushing back against white narratives, we buy into the white narrative.
It still works to this day, bro.
The shorties who got shot downtown is because it works.
Yeah, but even everybody grew up in Inglewood or South Shore or Chatham.
Hold on. Brian Todd just said, as men, we enjoy seeing a well-done BBL, but most men prefer natural butt. As men, we like ass. That's just it. Right? There's no distinction between did the surgeon create it or was it homegrown. We just like ass.
No, but I think you gotta make concessions for the natural ass that's not this big one that people like. It's whatever ass that you got naturally versus the one she went and paid for.
What I'm arguing though, we like ass. Right?
I'm more of a titty man myself.
Bless your heart. But I'm saying in general, traditionally, black men have a preference for ass, right?
Sure.
And there's levels and gauges. There's no one ass that's the same ass.
Sure.
Right? So you like the healthy ass, but I don't think we're making the mental concession of, is that a BBL or is that a natural bred body?
Sure.
Right? But when you add media to the conversation and they start to create the narrative, right? Ass has become a currency at this point because you don't have any internal value. That's where I'm saying we're losing, right? And at the core of man, I will say this, at the core of man, we're looking for, in context of women in my estimation, like what do they say? Women look for men for security, men look for women for a place to be vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Right, so I think at a lot of levels, like when we looking at what we value, it's more of a, now we'll engage. I'm not gonna never say we wouldn't engage, but what we value is more of a, it's not a physical connection. It's not, we get that all the time. Mm-hmm. And we don't put value in that at all. You know what I mean? It's just interesting to see how it plays out, that's all.
So I wanna talk about these rap beefs, right? Chest bread, small booty matter lives. Small booty lives matter too. They do.
Who's Whitney? Whitney Houston?
Whitney? What you talking about, Whitney?
Said ass like Cherokee, legs like Whitney. Who's Cherokee?
You know Cherokee.
I know you know.
You know Cherokee. If you don't know nothing but D-ass, you know Cherokee. That is the worst tattoo ever and it's world famous. Anyway, I want to talk about rap beefs a little bit, right? and I want to talk about it on the women's side, because right now you got Nicki Minaj and speaking of well put together people, Megan Thee Stallion beefing with each other because I don't know, because whatever, they don't like each other. I don't know why they're beefing, to be honest with you. Maybe one of y'all can tell me why these people are beefing with each other.
You know goddamn well I don't know. I don't know nothing about Megan Thee Stallion.
I mean, someone who knew better.
What's the other one? Nicki Minaj and Lotto and the albino girl.
Mm-hmm.
What's the albino girl name?
Mulatto? I thought that was Lotto. I don't know.
I didn't even call her the albino. I'm talking about the other one. With the afro.
What's her name? Mariah?
No, not with the afro.
I don't know these people.
Ice Spice.
Right, her and Lotto beefing right now too.
Brian Todd talk about two act like he don't know the legend Cherokee.
Yeah, he's funny.
That's funny.
He's super funny. Is that your phone? Are you gonna do something about that?
My phone is right here, bro. Oh, that's
my phone.
So yeah, that's your phone.
That's my phone.
Yeah, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah, I'll deal with my phone later.
Hey! That's funny as fuck.
I swear to God.
So that's funny and funny. Yeah.
I'll return that call later.
Yeah, do that. My brother.
Shit. Speaking of women beef,
Woo!
Yep. I don't know what they're beefing about, right?
Uh-huh.
So I know when Megan Thee Stallion came into the game, you know, Nicki Minaj was on top of it. She didn't necessarily embrace
Megan suggested that Nicki had an abortion. That's the beef, I guess?
having an abortion.
Yeah.
I guess, but I know Nicki Minaj was talking about that girl dead mama, and she talking about her getting shot and calling her IHOP and shit. Like, that's weird.
Nah, I'm talking
Right,
shit,
you know,
man.
good
But
food.
when you said something about that, I didn't go deep into the shit. I looked it up a little bit, but my response or my take is Nicki Minaj on drugs.
Yeah, she's OC,
There's
dog.
no other way for me to see that, G. That shit was incredibly ignorant. And I ain't even talking about the music. I ain't heard the music. I'm just talking about it was like her talking shit.
Something's wrong with her.
And
It's not well.
yeah, it ain't. But again, right? So all of that, back to institutions, back to the dude wearing the rhinestone whole outfit the other night, who's 72 years old, right? How old is Nicki Minaj? She got to be 40 something, right? Or 40 at least.
Mm-hmm.
Megan Thee Stallion was in college not too long ago, so she's in her 20s.
Listen. I guess I should have found out more about this, but I really was just under the beef act as we've always known the hip hop beef, right? You think about the Jays, Nas, like these hip hop beefs, and she's 28. Like these hip hop, and how old is Nicki? These hip hop beefs between these dudes, I think it's just interesting to see it between women. Now, Nicki 41 and Meg 28. Appreciate you, Ryan.
The fuck you got in common, G? The fuck you got? What does a 41-year-old woman have in common with a 28-year-old woman where you got to have a conflict?
They in the same industry. They think they fighting for the same spot. Cherie said that Nicki mad because Meg got access to Jay and Rock Nation and them.
You're a 41-year-old woman and a 20-year-old woman, right? Like, again, this is a conversation that I have all the time. Like, we have this perpetual adolescence-ass philosophy. There's no reason for y'all to have any dialogue that ends up in conflict.
I think that when you don't have a real value set, and Mimi said that Nicki is a bully, always has been. She had a coked out rant this weekend all over one verse from Meg. Like, I think that Nicki has such a high run of success without ever valuing anything other than that, like superficial shit. And I think now on the back end of that, when you not that, when I don't know if the Barbie Nation group is still going crazy like the Beehive or whatever the hell. I don't know what Megan might call hers, but I feel like when you don't have that no more, then you were just a little bit bitter, especially when a younger woman does. And she, a generation and a half, your junior, I don't know why you beef with her. Like, I couldn't imagine beefing with a 25-year-old dude about nothing.
She never got the accolades.
She never got the accolades that Meg's getting now?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like,
You talking about like Grammys and shit?
Cardi came in, got Grammys. Meg came in, got Grammys. She didn't get none of that. And her run was, she was considered the coldest, but she never won anything.
Yeah. So
that's Ron talking without a mic. And people in the comments are saying, you know, that she's desperately trying to remain relevant, or the fact that the crown per se is being passed down. What the fuck is the crown of rap? Who the fuck dictates who gets the accolades?
these white companies.
Nas is, in my opinion,
Sure.
arguably top 3 MCs, and I don't give a fuck who you put in the category with him.
Sure.
Right? Nas ain't got none of the fucking awards. What the fuck makes you warrant that you should have those awards?
I've told you I've always hated the idea of that white validation through the Grammys and all that shit. Like, I don't need nan white person to tell me what rap album was cold. I've never needed a white person to tell me what black R&B singer could blow. Like, I don't need that shit. Now I know for them it matters in terms of, you know, the bag that they can command after they've done so many Grammys, whatever. But I've always loathed the idea of us needing to be validated through these white spaces. That shit is
It's the same
trash.
conversation about what I said about black institution,
Candace
bro.
said they call Meg people the hotties. Somebody said Candace got to come back and do a job. I think Darius was saying that. We got to, because that way we can not be up here guessing about why these women is beefing.
I don't give a fuck why they beefing. I'm never gonna do that research. You mad at me for not knowing that shit? You can be mad. I'm saying I saw the comments. I don't give a fuck. I'm never researching that. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not vested in that shit. I think it's remedial, right? And I think that remedial conversation is the same remedial fucking conversation we have in every arena of life. It's the remedial conversation of why we not saying this is an assassination. It's a remedial conversation of why we saying it's a black Super Bowl. It's all remedial because another motherfucker is dictating the value for us. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean about the value of black institution, right? I'm mad at you because what will quantify as the rap fucking crown?
I don't know.
Somebody help me.
Who get the most spins on airtime? Who got the best-selling tour? Or who get the most videos or most bookings or whatever the fuck? Has nothing to do with the art.
Nothing, right? And that's what I mean. That's the infusion of whiteness, right? Because that's all white supremacy has, the metric, right?
Yeah.
We can qualify our value through XYZ metric. Real value can't never be quantified through any fucking metric. But when you don't have institution to challenge those ideas, this is exactly what the fuck you get. That's why you get shorties killing each other in O Block and Woodlawn, a block away from each other.
Right.
Right? Because you've been conditioned to compete. You've been conditioned to be self-loathing. You've been conditioned to self-hate.
Right.
Right? And the same shorties who ever ran up on the little dudes that came out of that school at noon the other day, they said some assailants got away in the car, some of them got away running. How the fuck you shoot a nigga in the middle of the day downtown and get away running? I don't even know how that's possible. Yeah. Right? But I'm talking about the brazen audacity of it.
Sure.
Right? I bet you them same shorties, if a nigga told them to read out loud, they'd break down. Mm-hmm. You got the audacity to jump out of the car, murder 2 people. Mm-hmm. And if a motherfucker told you to read out loud, you'd have a fucking anxiety attack.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Agreed.
And it's happening at fucking Nicki Minaj level, right? Part of the problem is that we look to these people as influencers in our daily decision-making processes, right? We was laughing a couple of weeks, or maybe a month ago, and we was like, we need to do a segment called Things Two was Right About.
Right.
Right? We see the shit Puff going through right now. I've had pushback for Puff for a long time. I got pushback for Jay. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers push at me because Jay's the king.
But I say 2 still the pushback king. Yes, he is.
Right? Motherfuckers be like, I think Jay's a dick sucker. That's my personal opinion. I don't mean a homosexual, but
I was going to say, in this time of Diddy, you mean literally or not literally?
Yeah, I ain't saying literally, but he just does a lot of sucker shit to me.
Okay.
Right? But because our value system is all predicated in the bag, and the bag is only our value system is only predicated in the bag because we ain't got no fucking love nowhere else. So we ain't looking for love. Now we're looking for attention. And the bag will give you that.
So I'll set this up for you, and then we can go. And man, appreciate all of y'all for tuning in to this first episode back live. It's been fun having all of y'all in the comments. It's been fun just seeing y'all's names pop up. Cherie, Catrice, all y'all, man. I super appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page and set the alerts for every time that they go live, because it might go live at any time. That's the beauty of us having our own studio now, to where y'all fuck around and catch us in here on a late night doing some.
Also, just so we don't create no confusion, man, we're gonna go live every Monday at 1.
Yeah, it's always gonna happen.
But we're still gonna put out the Saturday.
The Relationship Friday shows will still hit. There will be
it just won't be live.
There will be an additional show for all the official dirtbags that will drop weekly. Shout out to all the official dirtbags that have joined the Patreon. Certainly appreciate that. We got the website up and running, so make sure y'all check that out. But definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube page, and set the alerts so you know anytime that we do go live too. But to your point, man, before we get up out of here, our thought leaders, right? You were showing me a flyer before we went live on Jeezy leading, like, was it a women empowerment conference?
We weren't supposed to have this conversation publicly.
Well, we're having it now. A lot of things weren't supposed to happen, but you never know what's going to come out of the Pandora's box here. We're going to name this Pandora's box. That's what we're going to call it.
Shit.
We're going to call this Pandora's box. Okay, well, never mind.
And we can do it. I don't give a fuck. I stand on my shit. You know, I ain't scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Cam, dirtbags, man. That's the official dirtbag. So, like we were saying, Meg calls her crew the hotties, and B got the beehive. We have the official dirtbags. That is our Patreon crew, official dirtbags. It goes back to a story we told on here some moons ago, but yeah, official dirtbags.
There is. Yeah, I see y'all can't wait to wear shoes again. That's funny to me.
Yes. I love y'all for that, man. Exactly. Knowing the entire journey of where we've been, but here we are now, and again, it's just super good to have y'all back. We're gonna get up out of here, but as always, number one, shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to P and Ron making this shit look how it needs to look. Shout out to E. Shout out to y'all. We will be back certainly Monday for another live. There'll be 2 more drops this week, man. But appreciate y'all. Again, make sure y'all check out the website and subscribe to the page. Absolutely wonderful to be back with y'all, and look forward to doing it again every single Monday. This is cool, man. I knew I missed interacting like this, but I didn't realize how much I missed interacting like this. So we'll keep this rolling, man. But appreciate y'all. Love y'all. For 2, my name is Herb. Y'all be good to each other. Peace.
Assalamu alaikum.
Good family, happy new year. Hope it's off to a great start for you. We got great news. Listen, y'all asked for it. It is back. Herban 2 live. Going back to our ordinance, we are live every Monday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time in the afternoon from the Herb and 2 YouTube page. Monday.
You sure it's Monday?
1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Herban 2
what time will you be
YouTube
here?
page.
What time will you be
live? I'll be my normal happy-go-lucky
Will you
self.
be here 1 on Monday?
This irritating individual will be angry. He's trying to work on his cheat. It is not working. Continue working on it throughout the year 2024. We're so happy to be back live with y'all. Make sure y'all there, man. Mondays, live from the Herban 2 YouTube page, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you gonna be okay?
Monday. I'll be here at 1. Hopefully you'll be here at 1. Will you be here at 1 Monday? Is that the schedule?
Y'all be good to each other. Peace.